Hey, Shalom, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to say, Call Halal Yahweh, Bashim Yahweh Shai. That's all praise, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father in the name of His only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, right? I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles that labored in this truth before me and taught me this truth, man. And Shalom to the hopeful elect. Hey, and today, man, we going into perilous times, man. ISIS out here blasting people, man. They have no regard for human life, right? You see these elites are talking more and more about AI. It's talking about how AI is going to be a god. All types of madness and nonsense, man. Right, and this is the times where you really need to get girded up. Right, you need to seek the Lord while He can still be found. Right, we're gonna get that. First, let me read this. I'm in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30 and verse 7. It says, "Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it." Right, so we're going into a time that has never been seen, man. Right, a time where wickedness is ruling, in abundance. Right, the iniquity, because since iniquity abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Right, let me get that. Iniquity. All right, let me get that. Hold up a sec. All right, so like it. All right, so I'm back here and I'm in St. Matthew chapter 24. And let me see where I'm going to start. I'm going to start here. I'm going to start at verse 4. It says, "And Yahushua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach, and shall deceive many," right? There's people talking about, they know the day and the time. They talk about, oh, there's going to be a flood. What's this guy named Ebo Moses or something? Man, this dude collecting all types of donations talking about, hey, there's going to be a flood. There's a flood coming. But people aren't reading this book. It tells you not even the Son of Man, the Son of David, Yahushua HaMashiach, the Messiah, he don't even know the day that he's going to return, right? But you listen to a man, right? Woe unto them that listen to man, right? That trust in man. Let me get that real quick. Right, let me get that real quick. Where we at? Yeah. So let me get this in Jeremiah 17. Jeremiah 17 and verse 5, right? It says, "Thus saith Yahweh, Cursed be the man that trusteth in man, and maketh flesh his arm, and whose heart departed from Yahweh." Right? You can't be out here trusting in what men say. No, what does the book say? Thus saith the Lord. That's what we're doing. Right? And this right here is red letter. Right? So many are going to be deceived. And the biggest false prophet is the Roman Catholic Church. And by extension, the Christianity, the Protestants, right? All that, Baptists, right? They're all false prophets, right? Why? Because one of the easiest way to know a false prophet is their fruit. These people will willingly celebrate all the religions. Celebrate all the holy days of the world, but completely neglect the holy days that the Messiah celebrated and that are commanded for you to keep in the Bible. Why do you think the Most High would set up holidays just for you to disregard them and celebrate someone else's holiday? Especially if you look into the origin of them. If you look into Christmas and realize it comes from Saturnalia, right? If you look into Christmas and realize that they were celebrating basically Christmas during the time of the Messiah, right? Why would you then celebrate the holidays of the kingdom that slaughtered our Messiah? It's complete madness, right? Verse 6, "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled. For all these must come to pass, but the end is not yet," right? So we're going to hear about wars and also rumors of wars, right? We're here, like this guy Trump, man. He want to go invade all these different countries. Why? Because the U.S. dollar is failing. Right? We can't mask it for much longer. That's why there's this influx of AI, digital currencies, right? Eventually, a CBDC is going to be introduced. Right? They might not call it that, but they've already started trying to lay the infrastructure. What do you think a stablecoin is? That's basically a CBDC. If the stablecoin is controlled by the United States, that's a central bank digital currency, right? And they can use that to control the population, right? Why do you think these data centers are going up everywhere? You think it's just so you can get on ChatGPT and get a recipe for meatloaf? or so you can cheat on your homework. Nah, man. The data centers is showing you exactly where they're going with this thing. They're trying to get a completely digital system, like with social credit scores, just like how they got in China, man. It's not conspiracy. This is already going on in the world if you pay attention, right? But yeah, wars and rumors of wars, right? We're seeing that majorly, right? Verse 7, for nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in divers places, right? And we've seen a major uptick in earthquakes. It seems like there's an earthquake every single day, man. Right? All these are the beginning of sorrow. So that's just getting started. Because Jacob's trouble is going to come to a climax. Right? We're just in the beginning stages of that, man. Ice Age is just blasting people, man, emptying the mag. Like, come on, bro. You need to be girded up, man. You got to get your mind ready for perilous times. You should be praying for mercy from the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, by Shem Yahweh Shai, man. You should be getting this book, especially you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, right? The true biblical Israelites. You need to be getting prepared, man. Come back to the Most High God. Stop thinking you know everything. Christianity's not warning you about what's getting ready to happen. They think America is going to continue forever because they think that America is the promised land. No, this is Mystery Babylon the Great, right? If you read the book of Revelation chapter 17, Revelation 18, then you go to 2nd Ezra 6 and 9, it tells you Esau is the end of the world, Jacob is the beginning thereafter, right? The Edomites are going to be ruling this world when the Messiah comes back. Who are the Edomites today? The so-called white man, right? And they're controlling the world through the whore that sits upon the beast, right? You got the whore, which is America. You got the dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns, represents today NATO and the EU, right? And evils have been multiplied in the earth under them. Let's get that, matter of fact, right? This is the book of Revelation, chapter 6 and verse 4. It says, and there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword, right? And who is blessed with the sword, man? Esau, Edom, man. Right? And that red horse represents the Roman Empire, right? They went out conquering and colonizing, right? Similar to the Greeks, right? But then the Roman Empire fell, and the pagan Roman Empire fell. The Byzantine Empire started to rule, and who was the Byzantine Empire made up of? The leaders in there, those were Jakes. Those were Israelites, so-called black men, right? From the tribes, from the Southern Kingdom, right? That's when you get the Moorish Empire going out and ruling in Europe. But then they had the fall, and then we had the Renaissance when they started to paint the pictures white, when they started to whitewash history, right? Renaissance, what is that? Rebirth. Then you had the Age of Enlightenment, right? This is all Edomite ways of thinking. That's when the world became ungodly, right? And evils were multiplied in the earth, right? Let me get this in First Maccabees, because Maccabees tells you, man, hey, when the Edomites started ruling, right? Because verse 1, First Maccabees 1:1, it says, and it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Shittim, had smitten Darius, king of Persia, king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead the first over Greece, right? So it tells you right here that Alexander the Great, he wasn't an actual Greek, because it tells you right here they were ruling over the Greek. They were ruling over Greece, so they had to go conquer that land. So they weren't the original Greeks. The original Greeks were Japhetic people, right? Philip the Macedonian, if you look into the Macedonians, they go back to Esau, Edom, right? I believe Alexander, I believe Alexander through Philip would have been an Amalekite, right? And you got to read all this history, but it goes on to tell you that once Alexander fell, he had 4 generals, right, that stepped up. And it tells you, let me see where it's at. It tells you evils were multiplied in the earth, right? Oh, yeah, here it goes. Verse 9. Or I start verse 7. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died, and his servants bare rule everyone in his place. Right? And verse 9. And after his death, they all put on crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth. Right? And verse 10, and there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been a hostage at Rome, and he reigned the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks, right? But I say all this to say that these Edomites have gone through the earth multiplying evil through their philosophy, right? It tells you in the book of Revelation that the whole world is drunk from the wine of their fornication, right? Their money system, their false money system, this fiat currency, right, which is being pushed by the international bankers, right? And what do the bankers want? They want a one world government, right? If you read on the dollar, it tells you their plan. It says the order of the new age, right? Right? They got the pyramid on the back of the dollar. What is that signifying? A new world order, right? That's signifying the wickedness of all these kingdoms combined, right? You got Egypt, you got Babylon, you got the Greeks, you got Medo-Persians, you got the who else, right? The original Babylonians, right? Samaria, Nineveh, right? This land, America, is the mother of all harlots, right? Let's get back here, Matthew 24. Right, in verse 9, then they shall deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And the Israelites, the true prophets, man, the ones that are speaking against this wicked kingdom, America, Babylon the Great, they're going to be hated for the name of Yahushua. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise and deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold, right? But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved, right? So, hey, man, this is the time we're in. The love of many shall wax cold, right? It's because iniquity is abound. Iniquity is accepted, man. You know, there's no, if you speak against wickedness in this world, especially in America, hey, you're frowned upon. You're full of hate. Because we live in a world where, hey, man, just do what you want to do. Do what thou wilt. That's a Satanist mindset, right? That's a Satanist mindset. Let me get this and let me go over here to Isaiah 13. Let's get Isaiah 13 real quick. All right. Let's see where I'm gonna start. Let's go to Isaiah 13 and I started 11. And I will punish the world for their evil and the wicked for their iniquity. And I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible, right? Who are the proud, man? The Edomites. The Esau Edom is the proudest of all the heathen, right? And they're the base of all the heathen. They're the lowest of all the heathen, right? They have no wisdom in them. They don't know how to rule. They don't have a real... They have a semblance of a rulership mindset, but they don't know how to rule in righteousness, right? They don't know how to rule without extortion and killing the earth. That's how they rule, man. Verse 12, I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir, right? And this is talking about an Israelite man, right? Because during Jacob's trouble, there's going to be wars and rumors of wars, but ultimately, there's going to be all out World War III. And what are they going to be doing? They're going to be sending young men to go fight, right? But if you're an Israelite, man, if you know the prophecies, you're not going to fight that war. You're not going to go fight for the beast system. Nah, man. You're going to stay right where you are, right? But you will face persecution here. It's promised, man. But hey, that's why you got to have faith in these times, right? Verse 13, therefore I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of it her place in the wrath of Yahweh of hosts, and in the day of his fierce anger, right? This is talking about the nuclear fire, right? The earth is going to, the heavens are going to be shaken, and the earth shall be removed out of her place, right? This is talking about so much impact from the nuclear bombs. You know what I mean? It's gonna be like the earth is shaking, right? In another scripture, it tells you the earth will it'll basically roll to and forth like a drunkard, right? It's getting rocked by these nuclear explosions. Verse 14, and it shall be as the chaste roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people and flee everyone into his own country, right? And that's people are going to start to go back to, you know what I mean, their own people, right? They're going to stop worshiping this Edomite man, this so-called white man, right? And they're going to try to go back to they should try to go back to their own countries, because America is going to be destroyed, right? You know what I mean? And you got to, and they should be coming out of the mindset of this beast system, right? But they're not going to. Right, verse 15, everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword, right? And really, this is talking to you Israelites, man. You can't be joined to this man's system, right? The only way you're going to be saved is to detach yourself from this system, right? To detach yourself from the tit of Babylon the Great. You know, if you want to be joined with this place, you want to be an American. You don't want to claim your heritage and come back to being the son of the living God, right? You don't want to come back to being an Israelite, right? You refuse to believe who you are, even though we have history, archaeology, and prophecy proving that, hey, the slaves from West Coast of Africa, those people were Israelites. The ones that they were gathering up, those were Israelites, and I could prove that. Let me get this in the book of Joel. Let's get this in the book of Joel, chapter 3. And I'm going to start at verse 4. It says, yea, and what have you to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, right? Tyre and Zidon, those are African nations, right? And all the coast of Palestine, will you render me recompense? And if you recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head? Because you have taken my silver and my gold and carried into your temples my goodly, pleasant things. Verse 6, watch this. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, that ye might remove them far from their border, right? So it's telling you right here, the true children of Israel were going to be amongst the men of Tyre and Zidon, and we're going to be sold to the Grecians. Who were the Grecians? Right? The Edomites, the so-called white man. Right? So African nations were selling Judah, Benjamin, and Levi to white nations, right? And furthermore, the scriptures tell you that, hey, the people that were dwelling here, the indigenous people, those were Israelites. Right? Let's get this. 2nd Ezra 13. I'm going to start at verse. Where I want to start, man. Let's just start at verse 40. It says, those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Osea the king and Salmanasar the king of Assyria led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land. But they took this counsel against themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt, that they might keep their own, there keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land. And they entered into the Euphrates by the narrow place of the river for the Most High, then showed signs for them, and held still the flood till they were passed over. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely for a year and a half, and the same region is called Ashereth, right? But let's look up this word Ashereth, man, because it's telling you right here, hey, the northern kingdom, they went to a land, a further country, which no man ever dwelt, right? And I have a book called The Fourth Part of the Earth, right? Fourth part of the earth. And that's the place that, you know what I mean, no one was living in, right? And you gotta pit the pieces together. What land was no one living in the time of the Greeks, the Romans, right? Or actually in the Assyrian Empire, right? But they left during the Assyrian Empire, but we know that the Romans, they so-called ruled the world, but they were only in Asia Minor, and Africa, right? Which would be Europe, Asia, Middle East, and Africa today. They were only over there. They weren't over here in America, right? But the Northern Kingdom fled over there. That's why they called them the 10 lost tribes, right? Because the small hats, they know that the kingdom of Judah was in Jerusalem, and they were scattered over there in Europe, different parts of Europe, right, during that time period. That's why they claim to be them, because they know that we were exiled out of the land. So it was easy for them to pick up their little small hats, put them on their head, and pretend to be us, right? But through discernment, you can tell these aren't the people. Why? Because they don't fit none of the prophecies, right? But see, that's what we're telling. We're telling you, come back to the Lord, because so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians is proof in this Bible that we're those people. And the prophets are telling you, hey, turn back, because this is what's going to happen, right? Verse 16. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Their bows also shall dash the young men in pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. Right. Verse 19. And Babylon, the glory of kings, and the beauty of Chaldees' excellency, shall be as when God, the Most High, overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. Right. And this is how we know we're talking about Babylon, because watch this in verse 20. I mean, this is talking about mystery Babylon, not Neo Babylon, because that's the region Iraq. There's still people inhabiting to that land. It wasn't done like Sodom and Gomorrah, because no one dwells in Sodom and Gomorrah anymore. Why, you have historians go over there, and they'll put light the ground on fire, and the ground has so much sulfur that it's flammable, right? It's completely uninhabitable, right? That's what this says in verse 20, right? Isaiah 13:20. It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there, right? So it's telling you that this place is going to be completely inhabited, uninhabitable, right? That's the nuclear destruction, right? Let me get this, and let me go to 2nd Ezra 15, man, because it's important. You gotta be prayed up now, right? This is 2nd Ezra 15. I'll start verse 1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith Yahweh, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Right? Hey, these prophecies in this book are faithful and true. They're gonna come to pass, man. No matter how you feel, hey, you're gonna witness it through faith or witness it through pain. Right. Either way, choose the pain of discipline or the pain of regret, man. We come back to the Lord while he can be found, or be destroyed with this land. And let me get that. All right. Seek the Lord. Wow. Right. Yeah. Let me go back to 2nd Ezra, and I'm gonna get that in Isaiah. Right. But it says, fear not the imaginations against thee. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. Right? Behold, saith Yahweh, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. For wickedness has exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and the hurtful works are fulfilled. Let me jump down a little bit. Right. It says, behold, verse 10, behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt. Right. And what's the land of Egypt today? You go to Revelation 11, either 7 and 8. It tells you that, Mystery Babylon is spiritually Sodom and Gomorrah. Right. So the modern day Egypt is America. Right. Verse 11, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. Right. Let me jump down. Right. Verse 14 says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction drive near, And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. Right. This goes back to what was said in Matthew 24, nation against nation. Right. Verse 16, for there shall be sedition among men, and evading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Right. It's just talking about martial law. They're not going to regard their kings, man. Right. They're going to do whatever the hell they want to. You know, and we see remnants of that in Minnesota right now. You know, these ICE agents, they're just killing people, and then the people, they really disregarding what the authorities are saying. They're going to keep pushing, right? You know what I mean? Eventually, it's going to get to the point where nobody cares. Everybody's just going to be toting weapons and enacting their own justice, right? Enacting their own laws, right? They're not going to follow the laws of the land. You know what I'm saying? Where we at? Verse 16. For there shall be sedition among men, invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. Slack it. Right. So they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able to. Right. That's talking about checkpoints. You try to go to another state. You try to go from a red state to a blue state, man. You might not be able to get in. You might have to show different papers. You have, like, we don't know how it's gonna actually be, but there's gonna be restrictions on your movement. Verse 18, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, and the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and great tribulation, man. So it's telling you, man, perilous times are coming. Bad times are coming, man. You got to get ready. That's why you got to measure the times diligently and see what's going on. All right, let me get this in 2 Ezra 16. There's a verse in here I want. All right, let me find this real quick. Because Ezra is seeing these visions, and he's like, damn. He's like, man, who's going to save me out of this time, right? Let me see this. Where is this at? So we're here in 2 Ezra 16 and 17. It says, woe is me, who will deliver me in these days? Right? The beginning of sorrows and the great mournings and the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars and the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Right? Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment, right? So the Most High is coming back to visit the earth, and it's not going to be pretty, man. It's not going to be pretty. Let's jump down here to verse 70. Right, verse 70 says, for there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear Yahweh, right? There's going to be, the people that fear the Lord, the men of the Lord, so-called Black, Hispanics, and Native Indians that have been called and are following the Lord, that fear the Lord. There's going to be persecution and insurrection among them, right? They're going to be, it tells you about in the book of Revelation, the men that stand for the Lord, there's going to be martyrs, people that are executed and beheaded for the name of the Lord, right? Just like the apostles were executed, right? Painful deaths, right? Verse 71, they shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord, right? So let me go back to this. This is the book of the prophet Isaiah, chapter 55 and verse 6. It says, seek ye Yahweh while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near. Right? Let the wicked forsake his ways, and the unrighteous man his thoughts, and let him return unto Yahweh, and he will have mercy upon him, and to our God he will abundantly pardon. Right? So you got to seek the Lord, man. Let me get this. Let me get this in Exodus about the blood on the doorpost, right? right? Because hey, you got to be covered by the blood of Yahweh Shai. That's how the Most High is gonna, his death angels when they visit the earth, they're gonna pass over you, right? You know what I'm saying? Let me see. All right, so I'm gonna get this in the book of Exodus, chapter 12 and verse 7. It says, "And they shall take of the blood and strike it on the two side posts and on the upper door post of the house, wherein they shall eat it." Right, and this is going into the law, the actual law of the Passover, right? But we know that, the blood signified the blood of the lamb. That's Yahweh Shai, right? So to get passed over, that you be saved out of these plagues, you got to have the blood of Yahweh Shai, man. You got to have the testimony of Yahweh Shai, right? You got to have that name in your in your vernacular. You got to be calling on that name. You got to be doing the works of someone that worships that name, right? Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, right? Let me see if I can find this, right? This is Exodus 11 and 5. "And all the firstborn of the land of Egypt shall die all the firstborn of the land of Egypt shall die, from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sitteth upon his throne, even unto the firstborn of the maidservants that is behind the mill, and all the firstborn of beasts. And there shall be a great cry throughout all the land of Egypt, such as there was none like it, nor shall it be like it anymore." Right, but in this neo Egyptian kingdom, man, there's going to be a great cry again. Right, that's Jacob's trouble. Verse 7, "Against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue against man or beast, that ye may know that Yahweh doth put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel." Right, so hey, there's going to be a great slaughter in this land, right? And let me get this, because this is the spirit we got to be in this time, man. We got to be calling on the Lord. We got to be seeking the Lord extremely hard, man. Let me see. Pray without ceasing. That's what I want, right? This is the First Thessalonians chapter 5. And let me see where I'm going to start. I started at 15. It says, see none render evil for evil unto any man, but ever follow that which is good, both among yourselves and to all men. Right? You should try to live peaceable with all men if it be possible. And really just talking about the Israelites, your brothers, man, live peaceable with all of them. Right? Verse 16, "Rejoice evermore, pray without ceasing." Right? You got to be continuously praying, man, and seeking after the Lord, especially in these times, man. You got to gird up the loins of your mind, right? Let me get that. Real quick. Spelled that wrong. Right? This is 1 Peter chapter 1 and verse 13. "Wherefore gird up the loins of your mind, be sober, and hope to the end for the grace that is to be brought unto you at the revelation of Yahweh Shai, Hamashiach," right? So, you got to get ready, man. Prepare yourself for what's about to go down, right? And have faith, man. Let me get this in 1 Timothy 3 and 9, right? Because there's a word I want to get. 1 Timothy 3 and 9, right? It says, "Holding fast mystery of the faith in a pure conscience," right? You got to hold the mysteries. The mysteries is what's going to increase your faith, man. You got to hold on to those, right? And what does it say right here? The word mystery is mysterion, right? Hidden thing, secret thing. Generally, mysteries, religious secrets confined only to the initiated and not to ordinary mortals, right? Because ordinary people, like people of this earth, are going to see the trials and tribulations, right? They're going to see the great insurrections. They're going to see the destruction of American Babylon the Great, and they're going to be in fear. But what do? We hold fast to mysteries and the faith that comes with the mysteries, right? Right? Because look at this. It says, another definition of God, the secret counsels which govern the Most High in dealing with the righteous, which are hidden from ungodly and wicked men, but plain to the godly, right? So, hey, we see these things happening. You should be rejoicing, It's tough to see people lose their life, but hey, what did it say? It says holding the mysteries of the faith in a pure conscience. We know that all these things must come, right? Because watch, we go back to Matthew 24. it tells you, right, verse 6, it says, you should hear wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet, right? So we see these things and we see that, the Most High words are faithful and true, just like it said in Second Ezra, man. And we're just holding fast the mysteries with a pure conscience, man. So, make sure you gird it up in these days. Until next time, hey, man, shalom, all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, and man, shalom.